G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. We are here today on Dry Arabia to watch one of the world's best players, David Kim, aka Puppy Paw, go up against a challenger from China. He spawns down on the south side of the map in the color purple, playing as the Japanese. We see that beautiful little boat he's got there under the town center. It is, of course, David Kim, aka Puppy Paw. And on the north side of the map in the color orange, playing as the English, Scarlet Devil. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Dry Arabia. That is the name of the game today, or at least the name of the map today. I'm Aussie Drungo. I'll be your host. Let's get to it. We got a fun matchup here. I love both of these civilizations. They're so much fun. And I think the big question is, what does Scarlet Devil do to respond to the inevitable Japanese fast castle that we will see here? That's the big question on my mind. I suspect it's probably going to be a 2TC play. Like, to me, the bare bone basic response, or not response, but just like opening for the English is, I'm going to get myself my Abbey of the Trinity, I almost said, Abbey of the Kings. I'm going to get a second town center down on my gold, and then I'm just going to go Castle Age. It just seems like the most stock standard thing that you can do. So we'll have to keep an eye out and see whether Scarlet Devil looks to mix things up and what kind of way they look to play. At least I'm going to assume it's a guy, even though the name is Scarlet Devil. I guess naturally when I think of Scarlet, I think of the StarCraft 2 player. So naturally I go to she. Yeah, we'll go with he for Scarlet Devil. I mean, the odds are pretty high. Anyway, we got the scouts coming back now. Puppy Paw going to be pulling back 6 sheep, not too bad. Scarlet Devil towards the top side, 7 sheep at the moment. I'll give you guys a little bit of an update here as well with regard to the Red Bull Walla Lol. You may have missed it, and if that is the case, well, no problems whatsoever. If you don't want to get that spoiled for you, maybe just like speed up the next 10 seconds. All right, here we go. So the Red Bull Walla Lol is happening in Spain, and Puppy Paw is going to be invited to take on Marine Lord over there. So this is basically one of the best players in the world right now, arguably the second best player in the world, that is going to be going up against Scarlet. So I'm looking forward to it. Now, Scarlet's a pretty good player as well. I think finished in the top 20 last season, currently in the top 30, so very good player. Abbey of Kings coming down. Interesting position on the Abbey of Kings as well, right next to the gold. Not normally the best spot, especially because you've got, this is a bit of a weird trade post. It kind of ruins the vibe, I would say, of the English base, because you want to try and pack, like, you want to go TC here-ish, and then you want to put farms towards the back and get the wall off here, but the trade post really annoys you when it does this kind of stuff. So interesting that the Abbey of Kings has come down here. I would have thought it would have been a little bit closer to the main TC, but it's a small little detail. We'll check in with Puppy Paw. So it looks like the Kura Storehouse will be coming down, but once again, not that optimal placement where we see 100% of the farms able to come up online. In fact, it's going to be a little bit of a weird one here, because not only is his farms, or are his farms, blocked by the town center, they're also blocked by the forge here as well. Now, I'm sure that he'll eventually get rid of it, but, that's going to take some time. This essentially is a farm that just won't ever populate. So he's going to miss out on 3 farms in the early game because of this positioning. Now, granted, he probably could have put it, towards the top side here like this, but then you do lose a little bit of value from it, just because do you really have these farms that you can access? Not really, because the enemy has that aggression in on that top side, typically against the English. So let's get to it. Tawira is also going to be coming in here for Puppy Paw. Keep in mind that you won't actually be able to see any of the upgrades at the top of your screen for the Japanese. It's kind of wild that the Japanese have been out for almost a year now, and we still haven't got like these basic little things fixed up. And it's one of those things that really breaks my heart about Age of Empires 4, because it feels like it's on life support at this stage. Just stuff that we've been asking for a really long time still hasn't even been looked at, and it breaks my heart, man. It really does. But age up's coming through very slowly for both of these players. For Puppy Paw, quite a bit of stone in the bank here. So is it going to be a second town center, or is he just going to be looking to pick up that first level? It looks like it's just going to be the first level of the Daimyo Manor coming through for him. So interesting decision to go into that. I wonder if he drops down an early stable here as well, just to look to try and counter that English threat, and look to try and get out his own daimyo. We do see the farm, of course, coming online straight away. With 7 vills on food, or rather 7 vills on wood, I would suspect that that's probably going to be the case, because you can go into horsemen to try and deal with that free king. The problem is that the horsemen don't do particularly well against it. So if you can go into the daimyo, or into the bannerman instead, you're going to have a little bit more a little bit more oomph, pack a little bit more punch. Town center going to be coming down here. I suspect there's 6 tiles. Normally, we always want to leave 6 tiles distance between the main town center and the secondary town center, just so that we've got enough space for farms. But I don't know if that doesn't look like it to me. It looks like 5 tiles. Could be a little bit of a mistake here from Scarlet Devil. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But at this stage, only 4 vills on gold. I mean, 4 vills on gold's an ambiguous amount. I'll say that much. It's okay. 5 vills. Okay, it's gonna be a castle age. I was gonna say 4 vills on gold is like I'm gonna stay inside the feudal age. I'm gonna make gold heavy units. You know, that sort of thing. Whereas 5 vills tells me okay, it's probably gonna be a castle age. So we see the Benaman now starting to come out. You can see he's immediately trying to hit this king. He's shadowing, at least it's almost the other way. He's not shadowing, rather the scout is being shadowed by the king. But you can see from Puppy Paw's perspective, he's just looking to intercept at this stage. He can get the charge off here, so he will go for it. You can see that Scarlet Devil's going to take a whole bunch of damage, but remember that heal is still there. Damage comes in, Scout tanks up the charge, and pops the shield so that no damage gets done at the moment. Nice little micro. I'd love to see an outpost down on the gold. We don't see it just yet. Farmhouse also going to get thrown down on berries. Keep in mind, he does already have that first level, that Tawara upgrade. He's also got the second level, Fudasashi. No, Fudasashi is the level 3. I can't remember the Musashi. No, Drongo. That's a supplement brand in Australia. Oh, it does look like he did manage to fit it in. So it is six tiles wide. All right. I just I just had a Canyonero ad play in my head right then. What is it? It's 4. I can't. 45 foot long, 2 lanes wide, 65 tons of American Pride. I think it's something like that. 12 yards long, 2 lanes wide. There we go. 12 yards long, 2 lanes wide, 65 tons of American Pride. Canyonero. All right, watch out. Canyonero is not here to defend you right now. I don't even know how that got into my head, but oh man, I miss The Simpsons. I miss The Simpsons when it was good. You know, there's a part of me that thinks The Simpsons was only good. Oh, he's gonna go for a surround with the vills. You can see how quick he was immediately to get out of that area. Scarlet realizing, you know what, we gotta be very careful playing these games here. Puppy Paw is on the ball, and I gotta really compliment Puppy Paw on his response here. The fact that he only goes for that single Bannerman, doesn't look to harass the enemy at all, just really sticks the Bannerman out there and says, I'm just gonna utilize this Bannerman and make sure that my opponent can't get any damage whatsoever with their king. On top of that, you can then use that Bannerman into the Castle Age to contest the relics, which is going to be a key component here, as Puppy Paw will most likely be looking to put down his floating gate, Yorishiro into the stable straight away, then get those mounted samurai out. Let's take a look and see. It's going to be in the back of the base. The floating gate does go down. Plenty of vills thrown down on it. Meanwhile, over on the north side of the map, we're right on board with Scarlet for a little bit here, as we do have that transition period coming through. You can see the king is going to be moving up to the north. But I wanted to say about The Simpsons, like, I wonder if it's, you know, when you're young, everything is so much better, right? And that's why nostalgia, and, you know, like, that's why I love Age of Empires 3, because it takes me back to that time in my life where, you know, I had no worries. I mean, my biggest worry was, like, an assignment that I hadn't handed in for a week because I was too busy playing Age of Empires. That was my biggest worry in life. And so, you know, playing Age of Empires 3 takes me back to those good times. And I can't help but feel like with The Simpsons, it's the same thing. You know, those early seasons was just so damn good because I was so young. But as it, like, I think the episode that really, I kind of realized that it was, The Simpsons was falling off, was that one where they kind of turned into like a kids Backstreet Boys group, like I don't even know what you'd say. But anyway, worry less about The Simpsons and a little bit more about the game as the defense is on. You can see harassment on the gold vein, and look how quick Scarlet is up behind this. So Puppy Paw obviously already aging up. We can see the Yorishiro does get placed inside the stable, immediately looking to pump out some mounted samurais, and we'll start picking up the relics on the map with that Shinto priest. But the defense is in. The king healed up to full health. Obviously, the Abbey of Kings doing a wonderful job there. But the Wine Tower now going to be going down inside the base for Scarlet. How many farms did he get away with? 13 farms. Yeah, normally that's about the number that you'd expect. Between 12 and 16 farms is absolutely on par. I think especially with the sheep change, you can probably afford to go for a few less farms as well, just because you'd be rocking a couple more sheep normally. Yeah, it's interesting how that works. Before it was like, you know, you couldn't really rely on your sheep, whereas now you can very much rely on the sheep. So you can definitely go for a few less in the way of farms. Mounted Samurai numbers really starting to build, though, already up to a nice little lead here. And this is where you got to be careful, right? Because typically typically in this matchup, or not even in this matchup, but just in this unit matchup, right? Let's say Knights against Mounted Samurai. Which one would you rather be, the Knight or the Mounted Samurai? And the answer is clear, the Mounted Samurai. Why? Because you take an engagement with your Mounted Samurai, you take a couple of hits, 2, 3, 4 hits, and then you fall back, and you wait for your deflective armor to come back online, and then you take another engagement. Super duper simple thinking strategy behind that, and you're soaking up a lot of damage here because each of these knights have got a lot of damage on them. They've got, 25, 26 damage, whatever it is, 24 damage. That's a lot of damage. But in the case of the English, it's a little bit different, and that's because you've got the Abbey of Kings. As long as your micro is good enough that you don't lose these knights, you can run them back to the Abbey of Kings, and it means that you can have favorable trades throughout the mid game. Now, we don't actually see that happening here. It looks like it's instead going to be spears coming out from Scarlet Devil. No upgrades coming through just yet, but keep in mind they do start off with hardened spearmen because the spearmen aren't actually available to make for the English in the Dark Age. Take a look at this. Puppy Paw. Oh, what happened here, Puppy Paw? Jeez Louise, is this the real Puppy Paw? It is the real Puppy Paw, but for anybody wondering, you can't actually wall to a trade post. So he's just wasted a little bit of walls right here. Maybe, I don't know, was it in the fog of war or something and he just walled from here to there and just didn't look at it? Perhaps that was the case. Plenty of walls coming up, though, obviously. A little bit fearful of the threat his opponent might be thinking about, obviously going up with the white tower. There's a bit of flexibility with that. You could look to try and get some knights out on the field, but it's going to be spear crossbow for Scarlet Devil in the north of the map, and big walls coming in. I love seeing it. You guys know I'm a big fan of just hunkering down, especially as the English. It is one of the best strategies. If you want to win, you just kind of chill out and bide your time, wait for enclosures to come online, and you will be fine. That was all intentional, by the way. Anyway, let's check in with Puppy Paw, see how he's doing on the relic front. You can see he's got one in the bag at the moment. Well, he had one in the bag, and he was carrying in 3. He's actually only carrying in 2 now. Finds the last relic over here as well on the west side of the map. So that's going to be all 5 for him. Well, at least all 5 for the moment. You can see that villager does actually spot the Shinto priest, but Scarlet Devil just going to be allowing him to take the relics. This is always really dangerous to do because it might not seem like a lot, but in the end, it's like this is 400 gold per minute for the rest of the game that's coming through. So Scarlet Devil basically having the enclosures technology cancelled out. Not 100% because it obviously scales. The more farms you've got, the more passive gold you're going to be bringing in. So there is a world where, as the English, you can go up to like 100 farms and just be getting a whole bunch of gold. And you're obviously just making, men-at-arms at that point. Only men-at-arms, maybe a couple of crossbows, maybe some horsemen, something like that. Phil going to have to run back. You can see it's going to be caught out. No, Puppy Paw doesn't opt for it. Spears moving forward. Crossbows in the back as well. Only a handful at the moment. But now that king going to be marching forward. Umabenaman going to be the focus. Does go down. And just to get a little bit of damage under the Palisade Gate, but obviously at the end of the day, you would never trade an Umabenaman for a gate. So good trade starts us off for Scarlet Devil. Second town center, obviously, down here for Puppy Paw. Keep in mind that there's, at the moment, a 20 villager lead for Scarlet Devil. That's going to be somewhat offset by the 5 relics that have been picked up here for Puppy Paw. It's also going to be offset by the Yorishiros that are coming through. Slowly and steadily, they'll be bringing online more resources. We can already see the first, or rather the second one has been put into the forge here. So looking to generate even more gold. So up to 475 passive gold, or at least will be shortly. Second one probably going to be thrown in the forge as well. You typically want to avoid throwing them. Oh, where is he going with it? Don't tell me he's going. You got to put it in the barracks. I mean, I don't mind this in the barracks as long as you're going to delete the stable eventually. Because the whole idea here is that with the Yorishiros, the way that they work is once you delete the building, it will start generating a new Yorishiro for you to put it into. So I don't mind this right now because it allows you to be very, very flexible in your units. So this to me makes perfect sense. Ideally, you probably would have even wanted it in the first one, or rather in the second one. So you go stable and then you go barracks and then you throw them in the forges. But this is still obviously fine. It's going to be a huge amount of production that he's going to be able to shit out from here. We'll switch it over to income per minute though. Get a bit of an idea on where these two guys are at. At the moment, it looks like about 1250, 800, so about 3K. I'll give him 3K for Scarlet. On the other side for Puppy Paw, you're looking at about 2.9K. So pretty damn close. Pretty even Stevens at the moment, considering that 20 villager deficit. Meanwhile, towards this top side, spears, crossbows. Moving up, Palisade Gate is going to be going down. If he gets behind the walls, it could be trouble, but fortunately he gets there right in time and makes sure the cavalry is not close to getting in. Now, there is a bit of a problem with the army that's building here, and you may have identified it already, because Puppy Paw has. It's very weak to Honor Bergatia. Honor Bergatia is an incredible unit, very powerful unit. It is countered by Longbowmen. The problem is it does a lot of damage and it's very quick. It can get on top of you insanely quickly. And it's not countered by the Mangonel. So it means it's a very difficult unit to actually deal with unless you really have a good heads up about it. But you can see that Scarlet Devil has a little bit of an inkling that something may be awry as the scout gets through, spots out the confirmation here that Honor Bergatia is on the menu. Sees the double Yorishiro, by the way, in the barracks. And this, to me, is already like a massive tell. If you get into the base and you see double Yorishiro in the barracks, you know what is coming, and you best prepare for it. And we already see Scarlet is going absolutely ham with the preparation right now. A huge amount of men-at-arms coming in, and hopefully the men-at-arms is going to provide that front line that allows the rest of the units to do the damage to actually kill the Honor Bergatia. Nice job with the Mounted Samurai, looking to pick up reinforcements. Obviously, plenty of units out in the middle of the map at the moment. All 3 sacred sites have been picked up by Puppy Paw, so throw in that extra passive gold. He's got so much passive gold coming in currently. 400 from the relics. We've got, what is it, 300 from each, or from the sacred sites. And have a look at this! Crossbowmen together with the spears pushing forward. A couple men-at-arms in here as well. Oh my lord, the Mounted Samurai nowhere to be seen here, but the Honor Bergatia not looking terrible here. Keep in mind the reinforcements are going to be flooding in, or at least should be flooding in very, very quickly. But overall, I would say that this is a bad fight for the English. I feel like this is not a good thing for the English. As the English, I feel like, if anything, you want to delay the fight as much as possible. Just simply because the longer the game goes, the better it gets for you as the English. But a complete cleanup now comes through with those Mounted Samurai. A lot of unit is going to be lost here. A lot of mass is going to be lost here. And this is quite painful. We can see that military number still relatively even at the moment. A lot of it is going to be spears. More men-at-arms getting mixed in. Only 7 men-at-arms on the field at the moment, but continuing to move forward. Scarlet going a little bit crazy with this. All 3 sacred sites still in possession of Puppy Paw. Nothing being contested at the moment. And it does look like those Mounted Samurai are going to head back on home. Interestingly, no full wall off on this side of the map. This is something that always pains me when I see players do this. They leave a little bit of an opening here, and this is just almost an invitation to enter into the enemy base. Mangonel coming out. Yeah, that right there is the cherry on top. I tell you what, whenever I see that Mangonel, I just go, yeah, this ain't going to be pretty. All right, plenty of units on the sacred site. 30 villager lead at the moment. So during that fight, somehow 10 workers got taken out. I don't know exactly where that was. Was it the deer that were here? Perhaps. Maybe it was bills on wood? Perhaps there was something that I didn't see behind the scenes that was going on, but 10 villagers taken out in this game already by Scarlet. So really nicely done. Towards that top side, though, we do start to see those Mounted Samurai continuing to come through. I'd love to see a little bit more agency towards the middle here for Puppy Paw, beginning to move out into the center, looking to try and secure up these gold veins. Obviously, it's a little bit difficult to do this before Imperial Age as the Japanese, but there's nothing to stop an outpost or two, maybe a sprinkled in placement to try and really lock that down. At the moment, he's just going to be chilling out in the base, though, and it definitely feels like the numbers are looking really good here for Scarlet, despite losing so many units in that earlier fight. You can see the destroyed values for some reason actually quite ahead, so maybe I've misread that earlier fight. Perhaps Scarlet did quite well in that. A couple of vills out here, looking to gather up a little bit of the deer. Sacred site number 2 now going to be neutralized. Keep in mind that central one has been taken for the moment. Top side still open, still available. And just the constant chase. Now, I think the fortunate thing right now for Scarlet is that Puppy Paw, I don't think knows that this side is open. If Puppy Paw knew that this was open, I guarantee you he'd just be running through here looking to try and do as much damage as he could. Because the reality is when you're attacking a wall like this, it buys your enemy a lot of time. So ideally you want to avoid that. You just want to try and run straight through. But now that push starting to come to shove on the front. No outpost down just yet. Scarlet going to be careful as the mango shots come through. Look at the damage, my lord. Puppy Paw hits an absolute 10 for 10. Incredible stuff right there. That is a gold medal mangonel shot. Let's see if we can find another one. That's not too bad. Now, even though that was no unit kills in those big mango shots, it was so much damage. They were all packed together so tightly. There was no reaction from Scarlet. It was just absolutely perfect from Puppy Paw there. The only way you could have made that better, you know what, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. The only way you could have made that better is if they were all, could you imagine if they were all longbows or crossbows? You know, they would have all been taken out. Have a look at this. Berkshire coming in. Berkshire coming in. Berkshire coming in the middle of the map. You absolute madman right now, Scarlet. I can't believe you are doing this. This is incredible, and this is so dangerous to do. If Puppy Paw gets wind of this, you are up shit creek without a paddle, my friend. This is scary. You want to know the reason why? This is not an ordinary keep. If your enemy pushes you, not only do you have to cancel your keep that you're putting down, you also have to cancel your age up. And there's a really big chance that if they do damage, you're not going to be able to afford to age up again. So Scarlet right now is taking a huge risk here, but it looks like it's going to pay off because at this point in the game, Puppy Paw sits idle. Well, I say he sits idle. I mean, he's moving as fast as he possibly can, but I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows, at least with the way that he's moving at the moment. You can see he's got an attack move up towards the relic. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I think the Berkshire comes online, and you know the rules. When the Berkshire comes online, the English come online. It is happening. Keep in mind, there's still 12 vills behind there. That's not a huge amount of vills to bring to the middle either, but fortunately, looks like Scarlet Devil's going to be okay. Now, this is where it starts to get tough for the English. How does Scarlet go about playing the late game? That is the big question for me, because if you're up against the Japanese on an even footing in the late game, how do you even deal with Samurai? Like, Samurai are just a whole nother problem for you. The fact that they've got those Odachi upgrades with the extra damage against infantry is very, very difficult to deal with. But Scarlet now going to be pushing into the enemy base. It's going to be the Castle of the Crow thrown down on the defensive right now for Puppy Paw. Mango's here to defend on a Bagation. No way. Is he actually going for it? You can't. Don't go for it right now. You can't be doing this. You've just aged up. You've got no elite upgrades. Mangonel's on the backside. You've got nothing to deal with them. Mango shots looking good. Firing off on the crossbows. He manages to find a decent shot there. Samurai together with the Onabagashia on the back. You can see the Onabagashia behind the Samurai, still able to deal the damage. Mango shots coming out. It's a terrible fight. Absolutely terrible fight right now for the English player. The Castle of the Crow will come online. The reinforcements from the back. Oh my lord, it is a beautiful fight for Puppy Paw right here as the Castle of the Crow is now online. Good luck ever winning that fight, my friends. That is a tough one. Oh lord. What a defense there by Puppy Paw, but what an absolute throw. How do I switch it up? I think backspace? Yeah, there we go. What an absolute throw by Scarlet. Look at the difference right now. Oh, my lord. 62 military population. It was against 7. But now all of a sudden, the hero of the day, the Berkshire, comes online. Keep in mind, Puppy Paw, one of the best players in the world right now. Incredibly good player. He has a beautiful position here. The only real disadvantage he's got is that his enemy is in the Imperial Age. He's still in the Castle Age. But he's got a huge army, a huge amount of siege here as well with all these samurai. Wait, never mind. What am I thinking? He's Imperial. He just aged up. He went to Castle of the Crow, drops down. Look at that. Look at that right there. Gets 1,000 resources in the back pocket. What am I thinking? Jeez, Drongo, get it together, son. Elite upgrades coming through. So, Elite Army Tactics also on the way now as well for Scarlet. Moving into Hand Cannoneers. Now, this is definitely something to write home about. English Hand Cannoneers are formidable. They don't really get any upgrades, but what they do get are a huge boost to their attack speed through the network of castles. Upgrade, at least it should be, showing on my UI. It probably needs to be right here. Yeah, there we go. Network of Citadels. It's been upgraded. So the Hand Cannoneers are going to be able to get through all of that armor nice and easily. The problem is those Mangos are going to do you dirty. I want to double check and see. Yeah, so back home, Puppy Paw has deleted those 2 barracks and has also deleted the stable. As I sort of talked about before, that's the general idea, because you don't want that production anymore. But those Mangos now going to be pushing forward. Nice little defense. Got to be careful. There's a bit of an opening down here on the bottom side. Manages to find some Hand Cannoneers. Elite Samurai trying their best to hold the front. The splits are looking decent for the Hand Cannoneers. Not really able to be taken out, but a Springald here to save the day, forcing the Mangonels away. A couple of Samurai, as well as a Mounted Samurai down here to deal with it, and hopefully those Mangos should be able to unpack themselves, but look at the defense. Look at the defense. Scarlet, where did you pull this defense from? Also, the outpost getting an emplacement in there. Spears together with the men-at-arms charging forward somehow, despite being down 60 military population. Scarlet says, "G'day, mate. How you doing?" And somehow pulls out some sort of Reagan backflip right there and just does that little move with the finger on the chin. Isn't that was an amazing move? I do like that. Shout out to my girl Reagan, representing Australia at the Olympics in breakdancing. One of the greatest performances Australia has ever witnessed, I think. It is got to be up there. Let's take a look and see, though. You can see the Yorishiros are being thrown down in the back of the base with the forges. So I see 1, 2. I see 3. I just see 3. There was one in the Siege Workshop, which is definitely worthwhile. Ideally, you want that in like in a forward position. At least in my mind, that's what you want. Stone going to get caught out here. At least the villagers getting caught out of position. We can see it's going to start to fall. He's managed to take out 10 so far, getting that double-digit number. But keep in mind, this late in the game, going from 130 vils to 120 ain't a big deal. You're able to replace it anyway. But Samurai are everywhere at this stage. Puppypaw is going to be careful on the defensive as the English Imperial Age is well and truly coming online. Keep in mind, Enclosures is already there, fellas. There is plenty of gold coming through. Have a look at this. You're talking about 5.5k resources per minute coming through for Scarlet. Meanwhile, on the side of Puppypaw, we're looking at about, what are we? We're about 5.7k, so a little bit more. Economy slightly stronger for Puppypaw. I think the big thing is Puppypaw needs a response to these hand cannoneers. At the moment, there are 12 hand cannoneers out, so you need a way to deal with this. And you've gone into the Castle of the Crow. You didn't go into the Taganashima Gunsmith, so you don't really have an answer in something like the Ozutsu or the Robaldaquin, and that's a big mistake in my mind. But the defense is coming online. We're right on board now with Puppypaw as he looks to try and hold the line. You can see look at the value that the hand cannoneers are getting right now. Absolute incredible value as they take out the Bagatia. More Vils being brought to the front. Not sure what the intention here is for them. Maybe you're going to be looking to throw down a little bit of stone. They'll take it. Hand cannoneers continuing just to do work. English Men-at-Arms. Has Puppypaw picked up the Elite Army Tactics? He hasn't. It's called Elite Oda Tactics. He doesn't actually have it yet. A little bit of a mistake from Puppypaw, missing out one of those key upgrades. Mango's come online. Daimyo Palace not yet upgraded. Plenty of Vils in the queue for it. Mango defense from that bottom side looking good. The Men-at-Arms probably ready to run underneath. A whole bunch of Honor Bagatia together with those Samurai. I feel like all you really need is Samurai at this point. They do enough damage. But he's going to be mixing in those Bagatia. You're just going to be careful. They don't really do a whole lot of damage against those Men-at-Arms because of the armor that they've got. Have a look at the amount of armor. They've got 10 melee armor. Hand Cannoneers moving forward. Mango does go down, and the Hand Cannoneers on the backside left completely uncontested right here. Puppypaw in a little bit of trouble. Meanwhile, back towards the base, it's a counterattack. Samurai is running through. White Tower going to spot them out. Berkshire also providing cover towards the north. Plenty of Men-at-Arms looking to pick up on the reinforcements. Should be okay. Hand Cannoneers need to get out alive. This right here is the most important component of the army. Keep the Hand Cannoneers alive, and you'll be able to thrive, my friend. But if the Hand Cannoneers fall, well, I guess the English probably need to go back and rebuild. That's probably the best. He's down to 5 Hand Cannoneers. Another Mango goes down. Vil count has lost a fair bit in this. He's lost 35 Vils. Obviously, he's managed to take out 25 on the other side. So we're still pretty even Stevens at this stage. Oh, no way. Oh, never mind. It's a defensive castle. I thought that was an offensive keep coming down from Scarlet. I was going to say that is incredible right now. But meanwhile, back home, you can see all 5 forges stacked up with the gold and a single Siege Workshop out. Puppypaw is playing this Japanese defense perfectly. Like, this is exactly how you want to play Japanese from a macro perspective. Even the timing on the second TC was absolutely immaculate. I don't know what he could have done differently. I think maybe, like, not pushed in the Castle Age, but even then, I mean, how do you not push when you've got that much of a military advantage? Castle going to be coming up here. Bombard! Oh, no, he's caught with his pants down. Cancels it immediately. Vil's going to be moving out towards the Bombard. Very, very smart. He could have lost a lot of resources in a heartbeat just then. Bombard does go down, but he's going to be losing a lot of Vils for it. Mango's still here. The Men-at-Arms are too strong. The English Men-at-Arms are too strong for the Samurai. He doesn't have the Elite Oda upgrade. You need Elite Oda Tactics right here, and GG gets called. Puppypaw tapping out against Scarlet, one of the world's best players right here. Going out against Scarlet. Jeez Louise, what an incredible game there by Scarlet. An incredible defense, and I tell you what, manages to come back from what looked like a certain throw. Anyways, go check out Puppypaw, link in the description, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.